But the title of the greatest swordman couldn't save Boruto from his dark fate. Today's video is going to be an interesting one as we'll be going over these 4 theories. Subscribe if you want more content like this in the future, and let's begin. Boruto and Kawaki's fight has become one of the greatest mysteries in anime history. A more interesting detail is that Boruto is shown wearing Sasuke's cape and headband and is also using his sword during the fight. Boruto and Kawaki seem to be alone in their destroyed village. Naruto and Sasuke are also nowhere to be found. But since Kawaki mentions Naruto, the series has apparently taken a really dark turn. Kawaki has sent Naruto somewhere and has planned to send Boruto there as well. He is also determined to end the shinobi age on Earth. Boruto, wearing his headband after hearing that the age of shinobi is over, symbolizes that he wants to face off all the hazards in the shinobi way. I have talked about this theory in my other videos. Now let's get back to the main point. If we take the possibility of Sasuke dying or more possibly getting killed in the future, then the following scenario is very likely to happen. I think Sasuke was killed by his own student Boruto. Throughout the Naruto series, many mentors have lost their lives by the hands of their own students. But it's not like Boruto willingly did something like that. I think the most obvious way that could have led to Sasuke's death is when Boruto got possessed by Momoshiki. So far, there is no theory that could contradict this possibility. Boruto is also able to use Kenjutsu against Kawaki, which means he must have learned it from Sasuke during the time skip. So let's assume Sasuke is training Boruto sometime in the future, and all of a sudden Momoshiki takes over his body. Momoshiki then wastes no time and kills nerfed Sasuke in an instance. Boruto then somehow gains back the control over his body and realizes what that monster made him do. Sasuke's last words to Boruto would be to save the world and take care of his friends and family. Boruto was literally in pieces and couldn't think of anything to move on from his mentor's death. The fear of losing everyone else brought the thoughts of suicide in Boruto's mind. Fortunately, he didn't kill himself that day, but it was also the beginning of a totally brand new phase in his life. Boruto decided to go rogue after the death of Sasuke. To honor the passing of his late mentor, Boruto wore his outfit and took his sword as well. He then prepared himself day and night to fight his inner demon, that was Momoshiki. He had an overdose of Amado's drugs that made him gain complete control over his karma. But the side effects were also deadly as Boruto started having hallucinations and he literally fell into a state of chronic depression. Nobody was there to support him or to stand by his side. When the news of the last Uchiha male's death went public, Boruto was seen as an evil guy across all nations. The boy who was born to an arguably royal family was now bearing a huge amount of hatred that he never even imagined. With tears in his eyes and fear in his heart, Boruto mastered the art of sword fighting, that too by himself. With every passing day, he discovered something new about the karma. The character development that he went through was really insane. He was no longer the Boruto who used to crave his father's attention. The burden of killing his teacher and being the vessel of an outrageous monster had made him a totally different person. It had been more than a year since Boruto had left Konoha. He had discarded his chakra signature, which made it impossible for anyone to trace him. But one day out of nowhere, Mitsuki found him. It was really surprising to Boruto since there was possibly no way to find him. Mitsuki told Boruto that how the 10 Tails has been released and there's going to be a war between Earth shinobis and some new Otsutsukis that have been freed from their seals not so long ago. Boruto told Mitsuki that it seems like everything is destined to end, but Mitsuki told Boruto that they still have some hope left, and that hope is none other than Boruto himself. Mitsuki explained Boruto that he had a dream of an Otsutsuki who called himself Toneri. Toneri told Mitsuki about Boruto's whereabouts, and that's how he found him. Mitsuki further told Boruto that Toneri was talking about some dojutsu which resides in Boruto's right eye. That pure dojutsu is apparently going to establish the eternal peace in the future. As Boruto was listening to Mitsuki, an enemy appeared out of nowhere and killed Mitsuki on spot. The killer was apparently an Otsutsuki member, and after killing Mitsuki, he went for Boruto's eye. Boruto was left bleeding in his right eye and he activated his karma to fight that evil guy. Surprisingly, he felt a sensation in his right eye, and it was not the first time when he had felt something like this. Boruto took his sword and fought the evil guy. After a really good fight, the evil guy was defeated. Before ultimately killing him, Boruto asked him to explain the entire Otsutsuki situation and for whom he is working. The guy told him that he is an Otsutsuki slave and he was sent by his leader, who is also an Otsutsuki, to kill Mitsuki before he could meet up with Boruto. Unfortunately, he was a bit late, but since he has completed half of the mission, he can now die with peace. The Otsutsuki passed away and Boruto then went to see Mitsuki's corpse. Boruto's Jougan activated again, and in the blink of an eye, he found himself in front of Toneri. Toneri explained the whole Otsutsuki situation to Boruto and how the Jougan will help him to overcome everything. Toneri further told Boruto that from now on he won't be able to see with his right eye unless he activates the Jougan. Boruto then learned the basics of the pure eye from Toneri and spent the next 3 months mastering it. The Jougan also had a clairvoyance ability similar to Aida's Senringan, which helped Boruto to know the whole situation of the shinobi world and Kawaki's plan to send everyone to his new dimension. Boruto now knew the entire plan of Kawaki and decided to enter Konoha and stop him. But on his way to the Leaf Village, he encountered some goons from the new Otsutsuki tribe that had arrived on Earth. All of them were after the chakra fruit that was about to bloom on the planet. Boruto quickly realized that the situation is even worse than what he expected. He hastily handled those Otsutsukis and got his sleeve torn during the fight. Then he reached the Hokage mountain where Kawaki was waiting for him. And then the battle of the Hokage mountain between the Kama brothers took place.